Hello, everybody. Good evening. And also, good morning to whoever is beyond the pond and also watching us there. I hope that everything is fine with the translation. For me, it is a sincere pleasure that Sirma Group Holding shall be our host this evening, and also that they have finally been convinced to become the host of such an innovative event. They responded to the invitation of London Trading to have this meeting online, and I hope that more Bulgarian companies are going to grow this into a tradition. And this evening they are going to tell us a few words about what happened in the last quarter and also what is happening after the IPO of the company. So they are the debutants, the latest public company listed on the Bulgarian Stock Exchange, and the pioneers that were going to demonstrate how the corporate management in Bulgaria is going to become better, and also get a more fluent communication between investors on one hand and the company on the other. Mr. Stefan Kyriakov, who is a liaison officer, is going to tell us something. Good evening to everybody, and thank you very much for the heightened interest towards our webinar. I would like to thank Elana about the successful realization of our IPO. Mr. Tsvetan Alexiev is our Chief Executive Officer, and the Financial Director is Ms. Radka Peneva. We shall hold the presentation for roughly 1 hour. For 40 minutes, we're going to present once again the group, the companies, and interesting things happening, also the results of the IPO in further detail afterwards. Of course, by the way, we are going to also present to you the key information for the first 3 quarters of 2015 and the more intriguing projects that we have been carrying out. And afterwards, we are going to answer your questions. As you may have noticed in the invitations, you may either place these questions over Skype or by email, and it will be my commitment to readdress your queries to my colleagues. Afterwards, we are going to further answer your questions. And Mr. Tsvetan Alexiev now. Hello from me too. In this presentation, I'm going to first mention a few key facts about our company. Who are we? What is the holding structure? Which are the key companies within it? What were the results from the initial public offering, and what is the shareholder structure, the current one that is? Also, what are the consolidated results for the third quarter of 2015, and on overall, what's happening before and after the IPO this year, which is practically coming to an end soon. Currently, Sirma Group Holding is the largest Bulgarian IT group. It has more than 23 years of background already. We started the company as a small boutique company, which was established by a few friends from the university. And we were all eager to get involved into AI projects, and indeed the first projects of the company were in this sphere. However, afterwards, with the passage of time, we engendered new ideas about different new businesses, and currently we are what we are. That is the largest Bulgarian group of IT companies, and we, I believe, are justly proud of what we have achieved, of what customers we've managed to attract, amongst whom we have huge global companies. Currently, Sirma Group has 11 affiliates and subsidiaries. We have 3 joint ventures, consortiums, and also the key companies within Sirma Group are Sirma Solutions, Ontotech, Stingview, Sirma Business Consulting, Sirma AG, Sirma Daticum. And I would like to share a few words about each of these companies. Sirma Solutions is one of the largest system integrators in Bulgaria. We are implementing quite complex projects in Bulgaria and throughout the region, not only for private entities, but also under the programs for the electronic e-government of the Bulgarian government. We also developed different consultancy projects for some clients abroad, mostly in the North American market, where Sirma Solutions has its own affiliate company, whose name is Sirma USA, and also operates under the Panaton software name. Ontotext is one of the most intriguing companies within this group. That is a company which managed to preserve the initial idea of Sirma, and it works in the AI sphere. To be more precise, it is involved into the development of semantic databases and technologies. Ontotext is one of the most renowned suppliers of programs in this sphere, semantics, which is practically one of the hottest software spheres currently. The key product of Ontotext GraphDB is the fastest graph basis in the world, to be more precise, in the triple store databases class. Amongst the colleagues of Ontotext, clients, are companies such as BBC, Financial Times, AstraZeneca, Euromoney, etc., etc. Another company of the group is Engview Systems. It develops CAD and CAM systems for the packaging industry, as well as software which has to do with video measuring. The products of Engview are being sold in well over 40 countries around the world. The company keeps the second largest share in the sphere of packaging industry. And notwithstanding the fact that this is quite a narrow niche, this is a huge accomplishment for us. Sirma Business Consulting is one of the few companies within the fintech group of Sirma Group. They work in the financial technologies sphere. Sirma Business Consulting has not only its own core products for the banking sphere, and also is the implementer of the core banking system FlexCube by Oracle. The clients of Sirma Business Consulting are well over the half of Bulgarian banks and quite a few banks throughout the Balkan Peninsula. For us, there is another very strong market, which is the Caribbean, and also countries throughout Western and Northern Europe. Sirma ITT is a company which develops its own technology, having to do with the software, allowing a better collaboration between teams and departments within the same company, and also ensures maintenance and management of business processes and databases, etc. The key technology by Sirma ITD is a platform which is intelligent or semantic integration between the various spheres in which each and every company works. Sirma ITT uses a technology which was developed by Ontotext so that it may secure maximum flexibility of all process management within the company. Daticom is a company which is a data center per se. Currently, Daticom offers in this country the most state-of-the-art and most advanced cloud services in Bulgaria. Also, Daticom is proud with its key international customers that are glad to use our services. Sirma ISG is a company working in the insurance sector software, and we are the leaders on the Bulgarian market in this field too. All our companies have their own achievements. The majority of our companies have managed to achieve double-digit of growth in a few consecutive years. And of course, I must note that we're working in a highly competitive market where we have some serious rivals. Some of them are big international companies such as the Ontotech rival, IBM, Oracle, MarkLogic, etc. While for Sirma Solutions, I might note the largest system integrators working on the Bulgarian market and also on markets throughout the Balkan Peninsula, and also companies which render software services on the North American market. Sirma Business Consulting is being rivaled by large European companies such as Oseko and consultancy companies from the Big Four working in the sphere of implementation, development of key products in the banking sphere, and so on. Nevertheless, we are highly motivated. Each of our separate companies is very motivated to advance as best as it can. In the 2015, in October to be more precise, we carried out quite a successful IPO on the Bulgarian Stock Exchange. This was the largest initial public offering for the last 8 years in this country. Because 8 years ago, as you know, the global crisis started, and the exchange was quite weakly represented throughout this period. Generally speaking, when I debated with colleagues of mine and people from the industry, many of them were very distrustful that our IPO would be successful. However, we were as successful in this, as successful we are in all projects, strictly technically speaking, in our trade. The capital that we managed to collect from the public offering was 11.43 million Bulgarian leva, and the price per share that we managed to achieve was 1.20 stutenki. That is 1.20 BGN. We have a free float of 10%, and I should mention that the key shareholders with the company have signed a lock-up agreement for 6 months. In other words, we made this IPO so that we could collect the money to support an even stronger development in the next few years, and not simply so that we may have an exit for some of the key stockholders in the company. Why? We are being asked repeatedly, why an IPO? Why just now? However, each company in its development passes through various phases, and we are no exception. We passed through the phase of being heroic, so to speak, in the first years when we were idealistically inclined and we would work 24/7, and everything was very chaotic, very enthusiastic. And then we passed through the period where we started having these new startups and new ideas, to the period that we have finally achieved, where part of our businesses are quite well developed, and so that we may keep expanding on the global markets, so that we may keep developing strictly technically in our business. So we need investment, of course. Part of our subsidiaries also attract investment, from private persons. However, the stock exchange to us is the perfect way, the perfect channel to further boost our development and reach the next aims that are indeed quite ambitious, but within reach for Sirma Group. From the very beginning, ever since this company was born, we are quite diversified in terms of shareholding structure. I suppose that we are one of the unique companies on the Bulgarian market, where normally in most companies in Bulgaria we have a majority holder. However, for quite a long while throughout the years, we did not have anyone with a majority interest or controlling share in the company. So there is nothing new after the IPO. We keep being the same old team with this quite balanced shareholder structure. However, it is important to note that roughly 10.31% towards present date are institutional investors in the company. Also, we have individual shareholders, investors within the structure of Sirma Group, and we would like to extend our sincere gratitude to everyone who bought our shares during the IPO for their trust, and I believe that we should do our best so that they may really have good financial results. In other words, have a well-justified trust in us. The IPO, which happened, indeed was a little bit delayed as compared to the plans that we initially had. Of course, the delay was due to purely procedural reasons with the Bulgarian Stock Exchange, with all the red tape, etc. But what matters is that, bottom line, it did happen, and it did so successfully. However, until we managed to get the permit from the Financial Supervision Commission, we never stopped fulfilling our plans, the ones that we had outlined in advance for this year, even though we did heavily rely on the financing being managed on an earlier day. However, what we did start before the IPO was that we commenced our expansion in the United States of America. Sirma Solutions increased its marketing office personnel. Ingview Systems opened its trade offices in the States again. We kept working on the products that we are incubating, that is LOEX, an innovative platform for loyalty management, and also products such as Paymobilio. We kept our ongoing research in computer vision. We kept developing our key product for Sirma ITT, and we also specialized from the platform that secures semantic integration. We also specialized in a product which ensures the maintenance of engineering databases. And we have the first large customer in the US for this product. That is QVI, a company which, as you may all know, is the leader at the American market in terms of vision measuring solutions. We kept developing the key technologies by Ontotext, and also we are rendering more perfect the key products of the company. In other words, the fact that the IPO was slightly delayed did not get in the way of the plans that we already had for the overall development of the company. Relatively recently, we had the IPO as a fact. However, now we stepped on the gas of all our activities. Indeed, We have managed to fulfill quite a few of our plans since then, and we keep going. We are actually towards the final stages of the strategic plan for the development of Sirma Group for the next 3 years. We organized and structured processes in a committee that has to do with the investment that we're planning, eventually with companies that we're going to acquire. We also finalized our strategy on investment within companies in the Sirma Group. We identified and attracted M&A consultants that would assist us for the investment that we intend to embark on in the next 1 year. And we started considering the first investment projects. In the year 2016, the investment strategy of Sirma is going to include the following key directions. We are going to invest into strategic business verticals of the holding. Also, we're going to broaden our capacity for investment management within the holding company. We're going to increase our marketing and production capacity, not just in Bulgaria, but also throughout the world. We're going to invest in high-tech projects, which, albeit a little bit riskier, are of huge potential for growth. Our investment purposes are to keep the development of a focused expertise in our strategic verticals, also to grow and to realize a huge rise in terms of income and net profit on a consolidated level, to deepen the synergy between the companies within Sirma Group, which is already a fact. As a matter of fact, I should know that the entire group is a puzzle of companies that are working synergically, and we have a logical place for each of the companies within our group in the respective sphere in which we have decided to develop it. And of course, we are going to keep creating technology of enormous potential so that we may turn our businesses and companies into global technological leaders. The verticals within which we have decided to develop are cloud services and technologies, fintech, semantic, analytics and big data, software in the sphere of engineering and production, and also focused on software services. The organizational capacity, what we have planned to achieve, and we are achieving it already, is that we created a committee for investment and risk management. We started working with consultants on M&A, that mergers and acquisitions, that would help us achieve the targets where we would wish to invest. And we started developing procedures and rules that we're going to strictly adhere to throughout the investment processes. In the year 2016, we also intend to increase our organizational capacity in the sphere of the marketing and sales departments. And also we're going to intensify work and expand the teams that are creating software in the various companies of ours. The priority of our investment projects is going to be indeed expand the marketing and sales potential, which includes opening new offices abroad and also increasing the personnel in terms of marketing and sales personnel, and so on. We are also going to develop a structure that would facilitate the synergy between marketing and sales companies. Different participants in the group, especially on the Northern American market. We have a few companies which are our subsidiaries of other companies within the group that are registered in the US. In other words, we would like to have a much closer interaction between the companies in terms of synergy. In other words, they should share their common customers, etc. Also, we have plans to look around and acquire companies that may have the capacity of software engineers, which would, on its turn, ensure the development of the key products within the companies in the group, and also the implementation of projects for the service companies. And we should be working in the direction of improving further and further all training programs which are already in place, so that we may further qualify our specialists and attract new people to work for the group. In the third quarter of 2015, we have increased our revenue as compared to the year 2014. And the key factors for this were a few new large key products and key clients. I should just mention a few of these factors so that we could achieve this increased revenue. First, we had a few large system integrator projects, such as a large Bulgarian bank. Another one, which was indeed a significant step ahead for us, and we already managed to implement most of it. That has to do with a hospital by Asarel Medet. It was built by this large Bulgarian company. We also concluded a contract which are currently implementing. In other words, we should keep realizing it next year with an American company working in the computer security sphere. Ontotext have implemented a big contract for Financial Times. Also, another thing that was achieved by Sirma is that we have a new version of GraphDB, and this was awarded at the Euro Money ceremony. To mention barely a few, EngView launched a new version of its package designer version 6, which was well accepted by clients around the world. We also implemented a few government projects in Bulgaria, which have to do with e-government. And also we realized a few projects which have a bearing with the management of air traffic control. Sirma Business Consulting also implements currently the later stages of a large Flex Cube implementation project for an Albanian bank. And as already mentioned earlier, we supplied the new Sirma ITT product, which is for engineering databases and documentation for a large customer of ours at the United States. Now the financial data, at least the key one. What happened in the first 3 quarters of this year is that if we would compare to the previous period, where we had 19.6 million revenue, now we have 21.8 million. In other words, we have 11.7% increase in sales. The EBITDA of the company is also scoring impressively well, with 35.2% growth. We also have net profit growth of okay, so not the net profit, sorry, but it is the EDT. Of course, all this data is published already, I believe, on our website, where everyone has access and may analyze this good data. Which are the key factors contributing to this financial success? We have 161 new customers that are allocated between companies within the group, from 23 up to 33% growth in repetitive customers. The contribution to the increased EBITDA and net revenue really comes from the large key projects in the public sector, the financial technologies, and the healthcare sphere. What really opened the gate to better results for us for these first 3 quarters is that we have loads of technologies which we have already implemented in projects that were successfully realized this year. And this affords us to quickly and cheaply for us makes possible large software decisions to be provided. Of course, we should mention the contribution of EngView, package design, and GraphDB licenses, which have been sold, amongst others. What we have capitalized in terms of expenditure is work on our products, such as GraphDB, LOX, Sirma ITT, etc. Of course, it is plainly visible that we have increased expenses in terms of salaries, etc. And this is due to the fact that we started drawing increasingly senior, highly qualified personnel, and also there is some problem with the labor market for software engineers in Bulgaria. And I believe that I have really exhausted whatever I really needed to cover in terms of results for the first 9 months of 2015, what we have managed to achieve for the year until now, what we have managed until from the IPO until present date. I would like to mention that the entire team of Sirma is highly motivated to work, and we are working fast, and Indeed, everyone is quite enthusiastic because of the successful IPO, and secondly, because we have managed to accumulate money which is to be invested as fast as possible. At the same time, though, we have to be very sensible and very far-thinking in terms of strategy so that we can really achieve the high target that we have already pinned for the next few years. Now, thank you. I suppose that you can ask questions now. There are a few questions already via Skype. Let me start with the first one. It has to do with the capitalization of expenses policy. I'm asking questions according to the first come, first served basis. So what is the policy for capitalization of expenses? How can you do that? How do you capitalize these expenses? Okay, I will be the person to answer this question. Hello, everybody. As you are aware, Sirma is a highly technological, innovative company which has its own investment company, including the creation of own products and own technologies, and leading technological products for world leaders. One of these are EnQ package design, LOIX, image recognition, Sirma insurance software. These are the world leaders, as a matter of fact, in terms of products. These are state-of-the-art products which, of course, were developed by the employees, by the talents of Sirma. As a matter of fact, we are not the ones that decide on the policy for capitalization. As a matter of fact, we decide our investment policy, and based on this investment policy, we also form the expenditure so that we may create the respective products and technologies. And if they have the quality of intangible assets, they are already capitalized expenses. So the question about the policy of capitalization of expenses is not very precise, because we have an investment policy. Okay, so let's keep going. Do you intend to change the auditor of your reports with some of the more reputable on the market, such as the top 10? This is something to be offered to the shareholders, the audit committee that will be created, that is formed at the first annual meeting. As for the auditor that certifies the accounts of Sirma Group Holding, this is Mr. Boyko Kostov, who is of highest possible repute, since he is the director of the Institute of Certified Accountants, and I believe that this is the top of the IDES, which is the Institute of Certified Accountants. Again, the next question: why only 60% of the shares were registered, since you had a very active public offering? May I answer this question? My impression is that when we met the potential investors, mostly institutional ones, is that indeed there was a very large burden of disrespect and distrust for the Bulgarian stock exchange that was accumulated throughout the years. Some of the institutional investors said, oh, well, why would we take part? We participated 2007, 2008. Quite a few companies took our money, and they turned the cold shoulder to us. They even stole our money, and so on. And so the fact that we nevertheless managed to convince them with our achievements until present date that they should invest, and they did invest in us, and they trusted us, is indeed a huge success. What I meant was a concrete wall of distrust towards the Bulgarian stock exchange for its lack of liquidity, for its lack of big scale, and secondly, There were some previous horror stories with someone stealing some money, someone buying, say, a yacht or disappearing abroad to some exotic islands with the money that was accumulated from the IPO. So our task was quite a big one. We had to tell them and convince them that some normal companies are looking at the stock exchange, companies that sincerely and honestly want to invest in their development, and at the same time they are quite open for a dialogue with each and every of their investors. That's why we are holding this webinar, so that we may show you that in each and every stage we should be open for a dialogue to our investors. And as a matter of fact, we do wish to create an atmosphere where each of the shareholders will be successful and profitable. Whatever our share of the business is, we're going to put it 100%, and we should keep developing. As we developed with much less money now, with this hefty investment, I believe that we shall manage to grow much faster to much greater heights. Next question. Do you have any expectations of the annual results and any prognosis for next year? What is your forecast that you may share with investors? Well, it's a bit early to say what our forecast will be for the annual results, because we have quite a few companies abroad. But bottom line, all the time we worked a lot, we worked earnestly, and we managed to achieve a lot, notwithstanding the very complex geopolitical situation and also the situation domestically in this country too. As you see, for the first 9 months, we managed now to increase our EBIT. Since last year, all the investors were informed that there was one deal that was not part of the evaluation of the company. I'm talking about the EBIT only, by 13%, which is a huge double-digit result. Very good indeed. We gave a new direction to the company, and we set the direction for the next few years too. We are quite proud with what we have achieved for the time being, regardless of the quite negative environment with more than 40 critical points around the world. And I believe that we acted quite well and quite sensibly when we did not rely on the regional economy and its eventual resurrection. Instead, we heavily relied on our own strengths. So we managed to achieve the targets that we have initially set for this year. So towards present date, I believe that we are even excelling whatever we thought that we would have as aims in terms of increasing the profit. For concrete results, I cannot be specific, but I believe that the consolidated revenue, depending on a few deals that are still ongoing, between 30 and 32 million leva, Bulgarian leva, and a profit of roughly between 1.6 and 2 million leva, again on the consolidated level. Also, we managed to achieve good advancement in our portfolio and investing in new products and new strategies, and I believe that Sirma is and will keep being an excellent investment. Nevertheless, we would, or we could, do even better if the IPO was a bit faster. But all things considered, we have continuously invested throughout the year, and our investment strategy has not been hindered in any way, nor has the production strategy. We would like to express our gratitude to all our 360 staff for their eager work, and also all investors who, with their investment, are aiding us to realize the results for this year and to accomplish our strategies and our projects. I hope that very soon Sirma is going to offer joy for you too in terms of magnificent results. Let me answer very briefly this question. This year we are trying to achieve double-digit profit, and next year I hope that we should be growing exponentially. Next question is, could you please give us some idea how is going to about the equity, how is going to the equity return going to be realized next 3 to 5 years? Companies in the IT industry have two choices, two paths to take. This has been established by the American analyzing company strategy. Shall we go towards the growing margin or the growing revenue? In the year 2005, Harvard created a new method to evaluate companies, RVG, which is the relative RVG. Relative value of growth. 80% of companies in the software branch, 1% growth of revenue is a triple growth. So the entire board of management of Sirma has chosen the strategy of growth because this mostly better corresponds to the international strategies for company evaluation. In this way, by increasing the growth of revenue, we hope to increase the interest of investors and the overall profitability. Let me just add that our strategy is towards profit growth. Even though we are one of the largest software companies in Bulgaria, we are very small, even minuscule, on the global landscape. What we have in terms of income is really laughable for an even average in size global company. So our aim and target is to reach as fast as we can the 100 million euro revenue, because at least judging by what we have in terms of observations currently, this is the boundary from which onward you are a serious player on the international market. We should concentrate our efforts to a maximum fast and straight line to this boundary so that we may be considered as a serious player, a significant IT company globally. Next question. When do you expect to see the first results that has entered the company from the IPO? Of course, the first results. This money we are going to utilize in the year 2016. The earliest results will be seen in the reports for the year 2016, but realistically speaking, 2017 will be the year when this will be felt. Now we have a few questions about the dividend policy. Can you reveal, no, would you mention anything about the dividend policy of your company? The dividend policy has already been announced in our prospect, 20 to 40% of the net profit. Yep. Next question. Do you intend to offer quarterly reports? Of course, of course. We definitely intend to have such reports, and not just that. For each of the larger events in the activity of the group and its affiliates and subsidiaries, we shall inform the shareholders, and for this purpose we are going to disseminate information either via an information bulletin that you'll see early next year, or the page, investors page at our website. In other words, we should keep on going communication with our investors, because it is our firm belief that the transparency and the joint progress in the same direction is key to a company's success. Can you reveal part of your strategy for expansion within the United States? I already mentioned some of the key moments. What we are doing for the various companies. First of all, we have a few offices throughout the US. Ontotext, Sirma Solutions, and now Engview. So what we intend to realize, but it will be a little bit different for the different companies. In any case, in all three of our offices, we are about to open an office of Sirma entity in the US. The accent will be on hiring, marketing, and e-sales people. At Sirma Solutions, the plans are to also have hired senior technical personnel so that we may implement bigger and more expensive and expansive projects in the States, because it is difficult to realize big projects when the project managers are put in Bulgaria. Now, what else I mentioned? Right. Well, we are pondering over the possibility to create a business development center in the States where we can facilitate the synergy between our different offices there. Two more questions because time is flying, really. Do you intend to deliver to your investor forecasts for your results, and what would the basis for these forecasts be? Okay, now we have created already at the Board of Management a Committee on Risk Investment, which will be the main advisor for the forecasts. Of course, we must make such forecasts so that we may follow our targets. We are going to present this to our investors the moment they are already ratified by the Board of Managers of Directors, because this will also be a basis for the work of the Board of Management. For a specific term or deadline, I could not commit to any such, because we are creating new procedures so that we may put in place a modern and stable management of all available resources in the company. So I hope that until the end of February, I will be more specific in terms of data. February. And the next question is, which are the main three directions or products that will be key to you, the flagmanship ones for the year 2016? First, now there is a little difference between directions and products. The directions in which we are working at the group I already did mention in my presentation. In terms of existing products that we have within the companies in the group, of course, we should keep developing the main Ontotext product, GraphDB, so that it may be further perfected, and it will be positioned more and more strongly on the North American market, where our focus is. At present, we should keep developing our main product at Sirma ITT. One of the companies, or rather businesses, that we incubated within Sirma Solutions, works that we show having a separate company and finance it in 2016. This is a very interesting product indeed, because there is large demand for it on the international markets for this type of systems. At first, it was a little bit difficult to take the toddler steps. However, it is already quite successful for us to sell this product. And it is interesting to say that we are selling it much more successfully abroad than in Bulgaria. Of course, Engview should also keep developing their key products. The company has ambitious plans for a new innovative business solution in their sphere. However, I am not disclosing it for the time being. Indeed, it is a most intriguing technological project. So each of the companies is going to keep developing its key products, which it already has in its portfolio. Everyone is looking around, and this is part of the Sirma culture. Everyone is looking around for new ideas. All the while, we have been proactively looking for new ideas and realizing them, turning them into successful businesses. And this is what we should keep doing. And the very last question, and let's thank everyone. What is the percentage of revenue on a consolidated basis? 3.81. Well, I thank you very much indeed for all the time that you gave to our viewers. And once again, I would like to extend not just gratitude, but also my compliments to Sirma Group Holdings so that they may start this innovative communication with their investors. And I suppose that you will be the pioneers, and the practice is going to be imposed and gain popularity. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from me too.